Don't get it twisted. I love LeBron, but no.
LeBron James just reignited the basketball world, but not on the court. Magic Johnson stepped forward, calling out LeBron for what he sees as disrespect toward Michael Jordan. What began as a few blunt remarks about legacy and respect quickly exploded into a generational showdown, and underneath the drama lies a deeper fight over what greatness really means. Where Magic stands, Magic Johnson has long been one of the more influential voices when it comes to comparing all-time greats in the NBA. As someone who not only played through the era of Michael Jordan, but also faced him directly on the biggest stage, the 1991 NBA Finals, Johnson's opinion carries weight.
There's nobody at that height and size that can move that fast and also go through contact and still score.
In his recent remarks at InvestFest 2025, Johnson reiterated that Jordan remains his pick for the greatest ever. He didn't merely point to statistics or championship counts. Instead, he evoked a vivid memory, the iconic moment in the 1991 Finals when Jordan, mid-air, switched the ball from his right hand to his left, extended his tongue, banked a difficult shot off the glass, a play that stunned Johnson and people around the world. Johnson admitted respect for LeBron James, calling him a bad boy too, but emphasized that his allegiance remains with Jordan. He's not Michael. Don't get it twisted. What makes Johnson's stance compelling is the combination of lived experience and long-term perspective. He's not a neutral commenter. He played in Jordan's generation, competed directly against him, and later served as part of the league's evolution into today's era, including helping bring LeBron to the Lakers in 2018. Thus, Johnson's voice offers more than hype. It's grounded in history. For many fans, that history carries emotional weight, giving his preference a kind of legitimacy beyond stats. Whether one agrees or not, Johnson's position helps anchor the GOAT debate in memory and context rather than just numbers. Between legacy defense and modern commentary, one of the recurring tensions in the GOAT debate is the notion of disrespect. When Johnson or others label certain remarks or comparisons as disrespectful toward Jordan, it raises a broader question. In this context, what qualifies as disrespect? Is it direct insults, jesting comparisons, or simply putting someone else?
So I couldn't wait to get in front of him because I had watched all the film on him when he was with Cleveland the first time, when he was with Miami, then when he went back to Cleveland. So I had a sense of his game and what he wanted in terms of what he was looking for, but I had to get in front of him to just tell him
on
where we are. That's right.
Johnson's critique doesn't necessarily involve overt insult toward LeBron. Rather, it hinges on reverence for Jordan's legacy and the belief that some acts of comparison, elevating statistics or longevity over clutch performances and iconic moments, can diminish how fans remember what Jordan represented. By highlighting that 1991 Finals moment, Johnson implicitly argues that greatness is more than measured output. It's about legacy, impact, and unforgettable memories. In a modern NBA climate where media, analysts, and fans often dissect careers through advanced metrics, longevity, and all-around versatility, areas where LeBron often shines, some former era players view certain comparisons as undermining the drama, the clutch, and the narrative aspects of greatness. Johnson's reluctance to fully endorse LeBron over Jordan can be seen as a stand for what he deems as the soul of the game, legacy, mystique, and singular iconic moments, which may get lost in statistical analysis. This debate over disrespect touches broader themes: respect for history, generational differences, and how we value different eras of the sport. For many, it's not just about who's better. It's about preserving reverence for legacy, honoring what previous generations built, and resisting reduction of greatness to data points alone. Generational divide. The friction in the GOAT debate often goes beyond individuals. It reflects a deeper generational divide in how basketball greatness is defined. For legends like Magic Johnson, who played during an era defined by hand-check defense, slower pace, and fewer three-point attempts, greatness is often tied to clutch performance, importance of big moments, and championship narratives. When Johnson recalls facing Jordan in the 1991 Finals, he's evoking that era's unique intensity and stakes.
LeBron James will definitely win more championships. LeBron James is special. Why? Because he makes his teammates better. And LeBron James once he learned how to close the games, like as he did with Oklahoma City, we haven't seen the best of LeBron yet.
By contrast, modern basketball and players like LeBron James often flourish under different dynamics. Longer seasons, different pacing, more emphasis on versatility, athletic longevity, all-around skill sets, and cumulative stats. Johnson himself recognizes LeBron's greatness, calling him probably the best all-around player ever. Thus, the debate becomes not just about players but about eras, one defined by raw competitive drama and legendary moments, the other by athletic evolution, technical development, and statistical accumulation. For fans rooted in older eras, certain moves, team changes, load management, different training regimens may feel like a departure from what made past legends special. For newer fans, those changes represent natural evolution. This generational divide shapes not only opinions on GOAT status, but also broader perceptions about what basketball is supposed to be. It frames the debate as one between nostalgia and progress, between honoring tradition and embracing change. Johnson's viewpoint sits firmly in the former camp, offering a counterpoint to modern narratives and reminding fans that greatness may mean different things depending on how you experience the game. LeBron's all-round case, strengths versus the iconic moment standard. Even as Magic Johnson defends Jordan's primacy, he acknowledges the formidable case for LeBron James, especially when it comes to all-around skill, longevity, and statistical consistency. Johnson has previously called LeBron probably the best all-around player ever.
How do you think he will handle that?
Well, I don't think well. I mean, let's just be honest. If I got to say it, we got to be honest.
Right.
And the fact that it's a dude playing for the Lakers too.
Right.
It's a dude playing in LA.
Right.
LeBron's career spans more than 1,500 games, multiple MVPs, and championships with different teams. His versatility, scoring, playmaking, rebounding, positions him uniquely in a league that increasingly values multi-dimensional players. This offers a compelling contrast to earlier eras where roles were more rigid and specialization more common. Johnson's partial acknowledgement of LeBron's strengths is interesting because it suggests that the GOAT conversation doesn't have to be binary or absolute. One can respect different kinds of greatness based on context. LeBron's modern-era achievements, sheer volume, durability, adaptability across teams, and longevity present a different model of excellence compared to Jordan's peak-dominated but shorter-span dominance. However, Johnson argues that despite those strengths, something intangible distinguishes Jordan: the ability to create iconic moments that transcend statistics, a single play that enters league lore, clutch performances under pressure, and an aura that influences teammates, fans, and even entire franchises for decades. In essence, this tension represents two different philosophies of greatness. LeBron's case leans on consistency and adaptability. Jordan's, and Johnson's endorsement of it, leans on peak performance, dominance in big moments, and the kind of legacy that speaks not just in numbers, but in memory, reverence, and narrative. The debate, then, becomes not only about who was better, but about what better means, and whether greatness is defined by broad excellence or iconic peaks. How the GOAT debate shapes fandom and identity. The argument between Magic Johnson's support of Michael Jordan over LeBron James isn't just a personal preference. It reflects how deeply the GOAT debate influences broader NBA culture. The legacy of players like Jordan helped define the NBA's global brand. His dominance in the 1990s, combined with off-court presence, elevated the league's popularity worldwide.
He didn't care about the headlines. That's why I love him. He just, look, I'm gonna come do my job, but I'm gonna do it better than anybody else. And you don't have to put my name in the paper. I don't need all that.
For many fans, especially those who grew up watching Jordan, his era symbolizes a certain golden age, where athleticism, clutch plays, team identity, and emotional highs were central. As commentators and former players revisit comparisons between Jordan and LeBron, that nostalgia becomes more than just memory. It becomes a cultural anchor. Meanwhile, younger or newer fans often come of age watching LeBron dominate. Through his long career, statistical milestones, adaptability across teams, and strong off-court presence. To these fans, greatness may look different, less about championships with one team, more about consistency, evolution, and resilience over 2 decades. This clash between old-school legacy versus modern evolution doesn't just produce debates, it shapes how fans pick sides or form their basketball identity. The GOAT conversation extends beyond who's better on paper. It becomes symbolic of what kind of basketball and what kind of values a person admires. In that sense, a statement like Magic's isn't just about basketball skills. It's about preserving a certain vision of what basketball greatness means. Finally, media and commentators feed into this cultural dynamic. Debates escalate, social media amplifies clashes, and narratives are crafted, sometimes simplifying complex careers into legacy versus modern. The result, fandom becomes as much about identity as it is about sport. The thin line, one of the subtler but important tensions in disputes like this, is how easily a debate about greatness can cross into disrespect, or at least perceived disrespect. On one hand, statements like Magic's endorsement of Jordan are framed as honest assessments rooted in history and experience. On the other, fans and media sometimes portray opposing views, e.g. support for LeBron, as dismissive or ignorant of history.
LeBron James proved again why he is the greatest basketball player in the world. He proved again why he should have been named the most valuable player of the NBA.
The problem lies partly in the subjective nature of greatness. What one generation sees as iconic, clutch finals performances, dominance in a rugged era, deep emotional resonance, another sees as just part of history, overshadowed by metrics like longevity, adaptability, or all-around versatility. When those values clash, the language used can sound dismissive. You don't appreciate what tradition gave us, or you only care about stats. That framing often creates division rooted more in identity than in basketball analysis. Moreover, as the discourse evolves publicly, via media, social media, podcasts, there's a tendency to oversimplify or caricature the opposing side. Stat chaser, homer, nostalgia blind. That kind of labeling tends to escalate emotional reactions and reduce space for nuanced discussion. Critics argue that such polarization damages respect, not just between fans, but toward players themselves. Still, some voices try to maintain balance. By acknowledging both players' strengths while highlighting era differences, they aim for civil, if firm, discourse. Statements like, LeBron has unmatched longevity, but Jordan defined what clutch dominance looked like, attempt a middle path, recognizing different kinds of greatness without invalidating either. In doing so, they help preserve respect for careers and contexts, something increasingly rare in heated debates. Legacy versus evolution, redefining greatness across eras. At the core, the debate between Magic's preference for Jordan and admiration for LeBron represents a deeper question. What does greatness really mean in the NBA, and does that definition change over time?
LeBron James, to me, when you think about all-around basketball player, he probably is the best of all time, right? All-around basketball player. But when you want to say who's the greatest ever, it's still Michael Jordan. Now,
for Jordan and his era, greatness often meant dominance, peak performance validated by finals championships, scoring titles, and clutch moments under pressure. His 6 championships, Finals 6-0 record, and string of legendary playoff performances define him in those terms. But the modern NBA is very different. Rules have changed. Playing styles have shifted towards spacing, pace, and skill diversity. Longevity has become more common for elite players, and career arcs can evolve over decades. The success metrics now often include long-term consistency, durability, versatility, and off-court impact, areas where LeBron excels. This evolution forces fans and analysts to reconsider what greatest ever could mean. Is it about peak excellence, sustained success, adaptability, influence beyond the court? Each definition will favor different kinds of players. Moreover, the changing game environment muddies direct comparisons. What Jordan achieved under the 1990s context may not directly translate today, and vice versa. As one analysis notes, comparing players across eras may be akin to apples versus oranges. Different rules, strategies, team dynamics, and physical demands. In that light, statements like Magic's become less about definitively naming one GOAT and more about defending a vision of greatness rooted in history. They remind us that evaluating legacy requires context. We must appreciate not only what a player achieved, but how, when, and under what conditions. Ultimately, maybe greatness isn't fixed. Maybe it's a changing ideal shaped by time, culture, and the evolution of the sport itself. Magic's words have reopened the debate around legacy, respect, and what it really means to be the greatest. What was said, and what remains unsaid, could reshape how fans view not just LeBron, but the entire idea of greatness in the NBA. If you want every reaction, every subtle implication, and the full backroom story as this rivalry intensifies, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. The next chapter could rewrite everything.